Ladies and gentlemen, in a world that constantly talks, silence has become a lost skill. We live in an age where noise is confused with progress, where speaking quickly is mistaken for intelligence, and where filling every moment with words feels necessary. But today I want to remind you of something simple. When you remain silent, everything you need comes naturally. In a time filled with noise, distractions, and endless talking, silence is often seen as a weakness. However, real strength doesn't come from being the loudest or reacting the quickest. It comes from staying calm, composed, and in control. Silence isn't empty. It's the space where wisdom, strength, and patience grow. It's in silence that great minds think deeply, strong leaders make plans, and real change begins. Many believe that power comes from control, arguing, or being louder than others. But history teaches us that those who know how to stay calm and quiet often hold the most influence. When you avoid unnecessary words, you save your energy. That energy can be used for watching closely, thinking clearly, and acting wisely. People who always feel the need to speak often do it out of fear, as if silence will make them unimportant. But in truth, quiet individuals draw the most attention when they finally speak. Their words matter because they're not wasted on unimportant things. One of the strongest parts of silence is its ability to help us listen. Many people only listen so they can answer, not to truly understand. But those who listen with care gain insight, learn more, and become more aware. When you stay silent in a discussion, you let others share their opinions, thoughts, and even show their weaknesses. That's why skilled negotiators and strong leaders often let others talk first. The more someone talks, the more they reveal, while the quiet person observes and speaks only when it's needed. This isn't about being sneaky. It's about being wise. Silence helps you understand the situation, knowing when to speak and when to wait. Being silent also builds self-control. Many arguments and problems happen because people speak too quickly out of anger or pride, but those who understand silence don't let emotions control them. Instead, they pause, study the moment, and respond only when it really matters. This kind of discipline is rare, but it shows true leadership. Someone who can control their words can also control their life. They don't waste time on useless arguments. They focus on important conversations and actions. Silence is also powerful when it comes to achieving success. Many successful people don't talk about their goals or look for approval at every step. They work quietly, letting their progress show the results. The best athletes, creators, and business people don't spend time talking about future success. They put in the effort and let their achievements speak for themselves. That's why people often say, move in silence, because the only noise that should matter is the sound of success, not loud promises. When life gets hard, silence becomes even more helpful. In tough situations, those who panic and react quickly often make poor choices. But those who remain calm and quiet, take a breath, and look at the full picture are the ones who find real answers. Silence gives us time to think clearly. It helps us see past quick emotions and short-term problems, guiding us to smarter decisions. Even in leadership, staying quiet shows strength and confidence. A leader who listens, watches, and only speaks when needed earns more respect than one who talks all the time. The best leaders in history, whether in business, politics, or self-growth, understood how to speak less and mean more. Their words held power because they spoke with purpose, not just out of habit. Silence also brings peace within. In a world full of outside noise, finding calm moments helps us grow and understand ourselves. Many people are scared of silence because it forces them to face their thoughts. But this is where real change happens. When you learn to feel okay with silence, you build a better connection with yourself. You start to trust your feelings, understand your emotions, and see your purpose more clearly. Silence isn't emptiness, it's full of meaning. It's the place where ideas grow, wisdom builds, and inner strength is formed. Those who get this don't feel the need to constantly explain themselves with words. Instead, they let their actions, presence, and carefully chosen words speak for them. Real strength isn't in how much you say, it's in how much you understand before saying anything. In a world filled with noise and movement, true understanding has become rare. Many people just react to what's around them without stopping to understand what they really think or feel. But the clearest understanding doesn't come from talking fast or acting quickly. It comes from being quiet and still. The silence isn't just the lack of sound. It's a powerful state that helps the mind relax, the heart listen, and the soul understand. In silence, real clarity appears. It shows answers that stay hidden during busy, noisy moments. When we give ourselves the chance to be quiet, we open the door to deep thinking. Our minds, often crowded with stress and worries, start to slow down. In that calm, the outside noise fades, and we can hear our inner thoughts more clearly. This inner voice doesn't get shaped by what others say, social pressure, or sudden emotions. It speaks from a place of wisdom, guiding us to make choices that match who we really are. But most people don't hear this voice because they never take the time to be quiet. They fill every free moment with distractions, scrolling, watching, talking, without realizing that these things keep them from thinking clearly. Silence is a must for making good decisions. When we're faced with big choices, we often rush to ask others, discuss it over, and overthink the possible outcomes. While getting advice is sometimes helpful, real clarity often comes from silence. When we step back and let our thoughts settle, the right path usually shows up on its own. That's why many of the world's most successful thinkers, creators, and leaders value time alone. They know the best choices don't come from acting in the heat of the moment, they come during peaceful reflection. Silence helps them look past quick feelings and short-term influence so they can make wise decisions for the future. Silence also helps us understand our feelings better. Often we react quickly to things without even knowing why we're upset. Someone might anger us and we shout. We face confusion and we panic, but when we pause and sit in silence, we get a chance to think about those feelings more deeply. Instead of reacting right away, we start to ask important questions. Why am I feeling this way? Is this just temporary or is it coming from something deeper? What's the smartest way to respond? By doing this, we build emotional wisdom and learn to handle life with more thought. Another powerful way silence brings clarity is by sharpening how we observe. When we are always talking, explaining, or trying to be heard, we miss out on the little details of life. But when we stay quiet and just watch, we begin to see things we didn't notice before. We notice the real meaning behind someone's words, the hidden feelings in their expressions, and the chances that are all around us. Silence turns us into better listeners, not only to others, but to the world itself. A lot of people say life is confusing, random, and hard to figure out, but often that's because they are too loud, too distracted, or too busy to actually notice what's going on. The understanding that grows out of silence also makes our instincts sharper. Instinct is that quiet feeling inside us, the one that tries to guide us in the right direction. But instinct doesn't yell, it speaks softly, and to hear it we must be quiet first. Being open to stillness can lead to some of the biggest breakthroughs, creative thoughts, and life-changing moments. Many of these come during quiet times. That's why things like meditation, writing in a journal, and spending time alone are part of the daily habits of many highly successful people. They understand that silence is where ideas form, solutions begin, and the mind becomes clear enough to deal with life's challenges. One of the strongest powers of silence is its way of showing us the truth. When we remove outside noise, we start to see things as they really are, not how we wish they were. We realize what truly matters and what is just wasting our time. We get clear on our goals, our relationships, and what we're meant to do. We stop chasing things that don't bring us real happiness and start focusing on what really fills us with purpose. That's why quiet moments often mark the biggest turning points in life. They let us reflect deeply, realign with what matters most, and give us fresh direction. In a world where people are always chasing answers, true clarity doesn't come from more noise, more opinions, or more input from the outside. It comes from less. The less we talk when it's not needed, the less we respond without thinking, and the less we fill our heads with distractions, the more clearly we begin to see everything. Silence isn't just a lack of sound. It's a space where our minds can relax, where thoughts can settle, and where the truth can finally speak. When we welcome silence, we begin to see life as it really is. And in that honest clarity, we find the wisdom, strength, and direction we've been looking for. While most people want their voice to be heard, those who learn to stay quiet at the right moments earn the deepest respect. Many believe that talking more, showing dominance in conversations, or always having an opinion makes them more influential. But history shows us something different. Those who are respected the most are often those who speak less but think more. Silence often shows confidence, self-control, and intelligence. It's a powerful tool that, when used the right way, can shape how people see us, build trust, and form stronger connections. Respect can't be forced. It must be earned. And one of the best ways to earn respect is by talking less and listening more. When someone stays quiet in a conversation, they come across as calm and in control. They don't jump in without thinking. Instead, they listen carefully, observe what's going on, and take their time to respond. This makes others see them as thoughtful and careful, not rash or emotional. People tend to respect those who are steady and not easily influenced by emotions or outside pressure. Being silent is often a sign of this quiet strength. When a person talks less, their words carry more meaning. If someone always has something to say, gives their opinion on everything, or talks just to fill space, what they say becomes less important. But when someone who rarely speaks finally says something, others stop and listen. Their words have weight because they are rare and thought out. That's why many respected leaders, thinkers, and change-makers in history were known for their silence until the right time came. They understood that influence doesn't come from saying a lot, but from saying the right things. Silence is also a sign of self-confidence. People who feel they must talk all the time often do so because they're insecure, as if they need to prove themselves. But those who are okay with silence show they don't need approval from others. They don't feel pressure to fill every moment with words because they are confident in just being present. This kind of quiet confidence naturally earns the respect of those around them. Someone who can sit quietly in a group without needing to speak constantly or take control shows true inner strength. Their presence alone makes people pay attention, not because they're loud, but because they've mastered self-control. In the workplace, silence can also be a very strong leadership skill. Great leaders don't need to talk over everyone to get things done. They lead by example, by paying attention, watching carefully, and speaking only when it really matters. Because of this, their teams listen closely when they do speak, knowing their words are thoughtful and meaningful. This same approach works in every area of life, whether it's at work, with friends, or with family. People who talk less but listen more are usually the ones who are most trusted and respected. Silence is also a key to handling conflict. During arguments or tense situations, the person who stays calm and quiet is usually the one with the most power. When emotions are running high, many people react without thinking and say things they later regret. But someone who can stay silent and speak carefully shows real strength. They don't let others control how they feel or make them act without thinking. Instead, they step back, think things through, and respond in a way that calms the situation rather than making it worse. This kind of self-control in tough moments is a sign of deep strength and discipline. Silence also adds an air of mystery to a person. People are naturally curious about those who don't say much. When someone talks too much, they become predictable, and what they say starts to lose importance. But when someone only speaks when needed, others listen more closely. They become more interesting, and their presence feels more powerful. This is why some of the most charming people are those who say little, but make a big impact when they do. Their silence makes their words feel important. In both personal and professional relationships, silence often shows deep emotional maturity. People who don't argue over every little thing or react instantly are seen as wise. They know when to talk and when to remain quiet, which helps avoid many unnecessary fights and confusion. Being able to control what you say earns true respect. Rather than getting involved in drama or pointless debates, they let silence do the work. Their actions and presence speak louder than words. Through the years, the most respected thinkers, leaders, and change-makers have known the power of silence. They knew that real respect isn't earned by speaking too much, but by choosing their words carefully. Silence isn't just being quiet. It's where true wisdom grows, where authority is built naturally, and where respect is quietly earned. People who understand this don't feel the need to control conversations or prove themselves with endless talk. They let silence make their presence stronger, making every word they say more powerful and worth hearing. In today's world, filled with constant noise and endless talking, the true skill of listening is becoming rare. Everyone wants to share their opinions, make their voice heard, and speak their thoughts. But one of the strongest abilities anyone can develop is the ability to truly listen. Listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding the feelings, the meaning behind the words, and the intent. Silence is key to improving how well we listen. It helps us really take in what others are saying, form stronger connections, and make better choices both at home and at work. Most people don't listen to understand, they listen to reply. While someone is talking, they're already thinking of what to say next. This makes conversations shallow, causes misunderstandings, it leads to missed chances to really connect. But when someone learns to value silence, they also learn to listen deeply. They stop planning their response and start truly hearing the other person. This kind of focused listening builds trust, respect, and stronger bonds because people feel truly heard. Silence helps us notice things others miss. In every conversation, spoken words are only a part of the message. The tone of voice, facial expressions, body movement, and even pauses between words say a lot. When we stay silent and pay full attention, we begin to notice these small signs. We can tell when someone is nervous, hiding something, or just needs someone to listen. This deeper understanding helps in every area, relationships, business talks, and leading others, because it helps us respond in the right way. Strong leaders know that listening is one of their most important tools. The best leaders don't just give orders. They take time to understand, to notice what's not being said, and to connect with others through silence. This makes their words more meaningful, their decisions wiser, and their teams more loyal and respectful. By listening well and speaking wisely, they show strength not through volume but through depth. And that is the power of silence, something that anyone can learn, practice, and use to grow stronger, wiser, and more respected. Are not the ones who talk the most, but the ones who listen deeply. They make time to understand their teammates, hear out their concerns, and look at different viewpoints before making any final choices. This habit not only helps employees feel appreciated, but also helps leaders make smarter and more thoughtful decisions. A leader who talks too often and listens too little can easily miss out on important details, which can lead to poor judgment and distance from their team. But a leader who stays quiet, listens with care, and only speaks when it's truly needed earns greater respect and deeper loyalty. Silence is also useful when handling conflicts when emotions are high and people disagree. The natural reaction for most is to talk back, argue, defend, or try to be right. But in these moments, the one who chooses to stay quiet, listen gains a real edge. They give the other person a chance to speak freely, which helps lower the tension. Most importantly, being silent gives them time to think clearly before replying. Instead of reacting with emotion, they can speak with care and settle the disagreement with calm and clarity. Listening in silence also helps improve personal connections, whether it's with friends, family, or a romantic partner. Truly listening can decide how close or distant a relationship becomes. Many relationships break down not because people don't talk enough, but because they don't truly listen enough. When one person feels ignored or not heard, they slowly pull away, creating emotional distance. But when someone listens deeply, letting the other speak without cutting in, judging, or getting distracted, it builds trust and emotional closeness. People feel valued, respected, and understood, and that helps the relationship grow stronger, even outside relationships. Silence helps us learn better in school, at work, or in everyday life. Those who listen more tend to learn more. A lot of people struggle with learning not because they aren't smart, but because they focus more on speaking or planning what to say next instead of listening carefully. Those who stay silent and pay full attention remember more ideas, see clearer links between things, and gain better understanding. This ability to listen well makes them more skilled in their jobs, more ready to handle changes, and more admired by their peers. Silence also gives us space to hear our own thoughts in the middle of daily noise, from social media, news, and conversations. Most people rarely sit quietly and think about their feelings and goals. Without this self-listening, people feel confused, stressed, and out of touch with what they truly want. But by giving ourselves quiet time, we can listen to our inner thoughts, reflect on our goals, understand our feelings, and find direction. This kind of self-awareness leads to wiser choices and a stronger sense of meaning in life. Listening is a skill that few master, yet it is one of the most important. Silence improves our listening skills, helping us connect better with others, solve problems, gain knowledge, and understand ourselves. Those who learn to welcome silence and listen more instead of always trying to talk find that they receive much more in return in a world that always pushes us to act, react, and speak out. Silence is often seen as a weakness, but real strength is not always in speaking up, taking control, or proving something to others. Sometimes true power is in staying quiet, holding back even when it's easier to react, and choosing stillness when others expect you to move. Silence isn't about doing nothing, it's a skill, a powerful habit that builds strength, patience, and emotional control. Those who use silence wisely gain strong control over their feelings, thoughts, and actions. This makes them much stronger than those who always speak or seek approval from others. One of the biggest ways silence builds strength inside is by teaching us control over ourselves. Many people act too quickly without thinking and end up speaking or doing things they later regret. This quick reaction often leads to problems, misunderstandings, and guilt. But someone who practices silence learns to wait and think before reacting. This short pause is where strength grows. It lets them study the moment, calm their feelings, and pick the best way to act instead of reacting with anger, stress, or fear. Silence acts like a shield, keeping them from saying or doing something harmful or unwise. Silence also builds mental strength. Life brings many problems, setbacks, and tough times. A lot of people respond to hard times by complaining, getting upset, or needing others to tell them everything will be okay. While it's natural to express emotions, there's also deep power in sitting with struggles quietly when someone faces pain or difficulty without always turning to others. They grow stronger inside. They learn to handle their emotions, find answers from within, and move forward without needing outside praise or help. This quiet strength helps them face life's problems with more courage and independence. Silence also helps build patience in today's fast world. People want everything now, quick results, instant answers, and fast success. But the best things in life, growing as a person, having strong relationships, and real success, all take time. Those who understand the power of silence know that not every situation needs a fast response or quick fix. They learn to wait, watch, and trust the process. This kind of patience helps in every area of life, whether in love, work, or personal growth. Instead of jumping to quick decisions, they give things time to happen and make choices that are thoughtful and true to their bigger goals. Silence also helps people deal better with negative words or harsh comments. Many people waste their energy defending themselves, explaining things, or reacting when others misunderstand them or speak badly. But real strength is in staying silent when facing judgment or unfair words. When someone doesn't feel the need to answer every insult or correct every wrong idea, it shows a strong sense of confidence. They know that their value doesn't come from others' opinions, and their time is better spent working on themselves and moving ahead instead of wasting energy on fights. Staying quiet also helps people become more aware of themselves, which is a big part of inner strength. Many people go through life never really knowing who they are because they are always caught up in outside noise. They don't take time to be alone in silence to think about their thoughts or understand their emotions, but those who take time for silence get to know themselves better. They find out what matters most to them, what they really want, and what their life is about. This kind of awareness gives them direction and helps them make choices with confidence. They don't get pushed around by what others expect, and instead live in a way that feels right to them. Silence also increases emotional understanding. When someone talks all the time, they often miss the feelings behind the words, their own and others. But when they stay quiet and really observe, they become more aware of their emotions and the feelings of those around them. They start to notice what's hidden under the surface, understand unspoken messages, and respond in thoughtful ways instead of reacting too quickly. This emotional awareness helps in building strong relationships, being a good leader, and succeeding in many parts of life. Silence also builds strong willpower. Many of the world's greatest successes were made possible by people who knew how to focus quietly. Whether it's an athlete training to win, an artist working on their skills, or a business owner building a dream, it all requires the power to stay quiet and focused without needing praise or applause. Those who understand this are able to stay on track with their plans, even when there are distractions or things don't go as planned. In the end, silence is one of the strongest tools for building true inner strength. It teaches us control, patience, deep understanding of ourselves and others, and the power to keep going even when things are tough. Being aware of yourself helps build solid confidence, stay untouched by negativity, and remain focused on your goals. While many think being loud means being strong, true power often lies in quietness, the ability to listen, watch, and only speak or act when it's really needed. People who understand the strength of silence don't have to show off. Their strength shows in how they act, decide, and handle life with calm, clear thinking, and sure steps. Nature runs in a peaceful, effortless rhythm. Rivers flow without struggle, trees grow slowly and steadily, and seasons shift without pushing. Everything in nature happens in its own time, led by a quiet wisdom that keeps things moving as they should. When we welcome silence into our lives, we become part of this natural pace, allowing things to happen on their own instead of trying to force results. Silence helps us follow this natural path, making life feel smoother and filled with more patience and trust in how things turn out. Today's world moves fast and often teaches us we must always be busy, work harder, and chase outcomes. But nature teaches something else. It shows that everything happens at the right time, and that waiting is important for real growth. A seed doesn't try to hurry and become a tree. It simply takes in what it needs, stays grounded, and lets nature guide the process. In the same way, when we choose silence, we stop fighting against life and start trusting that everything will happen when it's supposed to. One of the biggest advantages of going with nature's rhythm through silence is feeling less stressed and anxious. Many people live in constant worry, trying to control every part of their lives. They rush through their days, overloaded with thoughts about what they must do and how things should go. But when we make time to be quiet, we begin to see that a lot of this stress isn't necessary. We understand that we don't have to push things to happen. We just need to be present and let life unfold naturally. Changing the way we think in this way brings peace and calmness, turning life into something more enjoyable and balanced instead of a struggle. Silence also makes us more in touch with our gut feelings. Just like animals naturally know when to move, hunt, or rest, humans also have inner knowledge that helps guide them. But this inner voice often gets covered by the noise of everyday life, the constant updates on social media, the views of other people, and the endless thoughts running through our minds. When we quiet down, we create space for this inner guide to be heard. We start to notice the soft hints of direction, the gentle nudges that show us the right way. And instead of overthinking and stressing over every choice, we begin to trust our gut, making decisions that feel right and match who we really are deep down. Silence teaches us to listen within and follow our heart more confidently. Another way that silence connects us to the flow of nature is by showing us how to accept things. Nature doesn't fight change, it welcomes it. The sun rises and sets every day without holding back. Rivers find new paths when they meet obstacles, and animals adjust to new places without complaint. When we spend time in silence, we also learn to accept life as it comes instead of always pushing back against it. We stop fighting things we can't change and begin to go with them. Accepting doesn't mean giving up. It means understanding that everything happens when it's meant to, and resisting it only causes pain. Silence teaches us how to allow life to happen while staying grounded and peaceful. It helps us let go of the need to always be in control and instead live with more trust in the process of life. Silence also helps us enjoy the present moment more. In nature, everything lives in the now. A flower doesn't worry about blooming at the perfect moment, and a bird doesn't stress about its next destination. They live fully in the present, surrounded by the world around them. When we are silent, we start to feel this same awareness. We stop worrying about what already happened or what might happen and begin to notice the small wonders around us. We hear the sound of the wind, feel the warmth of the sun on our skin, and become more aware of every little detail in life. This deep awareness brings happiness and thankfulness, turning even the most ordinary moments into something special. Silence helps us live with open eyes and hearts, making life feel more meaningful and joyful. Silence also makes it easier to let go and trust how life moves. Many people believe they have to push through every problem and work hard all the time to reach their goals. But nature shows us that real strength often comes from letting go, not from holding on tightly. The ocean doesn't fight the waves, it flows with them. Trees don't snap in strong winds, they bend. In the same way, when we allow silence into our lives, we learn to go along with how life moves. We stop trying to manage everything and start trusting that things will unfold as they're supposed to. Letting go doesn't mean quitting. It means moving forward in a calm, steady way. We start to work with life instead of pushing against it, making our path more peaceful and natural. Spending time in silence also reminds us how simple life can be. Nature doesn't hold on to more than it needs. Animals take only what is required to live, and plants grow only as much as they should. Everything in nature functions with a perfect balance. When we become silent, We see the beauty in living simply. We let go of the things that complicate our minds, worries, distractions, and extra pressures. We focus on what really matters, making space for more meaning and joy in our days. Living simply helps us think clearly and understand that many of the things we used to chase were never truly important. We stop trying to do too much and start enjoying what we already have. Living in silence brings understanding that connects us with the natural wisdom of life. It teaches us to wait, to trust the timing of things, to accept change, and to stay in the moment. When we stop to be still, we stop fighting against the current and start flowing with it. Life becomes easier, more peaceful, and full of purpose. Just like nature doesn't push things to happen, we can also learn to step back and let life do what it needs to do. When we understand that everything we truly need will come at the right time, we no longer need to rush or stress. We start to move with the rhythm of life, feeling supported and calm. By embracing silence, we tap into a deep and lasting power, the same power that keeps the rivers flowing, the trees growing, and the seasons changing. We discover that real peace doesn't come from doing more, but from being more. From listening instead of always speaking. From trusting instead of always planning. And from allowing instead of always controlling. This shift in how we live allows us to experience each moment fully and with less pressure. And with less pressure, we begin to feel more in control by giving up control. Silence helps us get back in touch with what really matters. Our inner peace, our natural rhythm, and the quiet voice inside that always knows the way.